Hello, this is David Johnson, and I want to talk to you about the last day because in the last days, Hebrew 1:1 and 1:2 say that Jesus walked on earth in the last day, which was over 2,000 years ago. First of all, I would like to know how long is the last days gonna last? Is there two sets of last days? Because the only set of last days that I know is Jesus talking about the old economy of Israel when the temple gonna be pulled out, tore down. So I'm wondering, is there another set of last days other than that set of last days? Because a lot of prophecies, teachers say that we are in the last days today. But Jesus said the last day was actually in the first century. And now, I ain't gonna only say what Jesus said. I'm gonna prove to it by his word that there was the last days back then. When we go to Luke 21 and 22, Jesus said that during those days, everything would be fulfilled. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Now, what days are he talking about? Are you talking about the days that we are in now, or the days of the first century? So let us see. Luke 21:20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with army, know that desolation is therefore nigh. Let them which are in Judea flee to the mountain. Let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things that are written. No, let me see. No, that some things that are written. No. It said that all things, all mean A-L-L, all things that are written may be fulfilled. So now we realize that Jesus was talking about in first century event. This was during the time when Titus and his son Vespasian and his son Titus surrounded Jerusalem. It was the 12th Roman legion of the Roman army, because during that time the 10th legion was down by Jericho, and the 5th legion was somewhere out in the land of Judea. But when they say the 12th legion, we know that was Titus and his son. So now, if a preacher say all things that are written is not fulfilled, he is calling Jesus Christ a lie. Let me say that again and make myself fully clear. If a prophecy or any prophet or teacher said that all things is not fulfilled, he is calling Jesus a lie. Because Jesus said all things were fulfilled, and that's the way it was. So there's a lot of prophets and spiritual teachers saying that all prophecy ain't fulfilled yet. We got more prophecy to be fulfilled before Jesus comes back. You can see prophecy fulfilling before your eyes. Okay, you might see prophecy fulfilling before your eyes what somebody done said, but you don't see prophecy fulfilling before your eyes of what is written in the Torah being fulfilled before your eyes. So stop saying that we got to see more prophecy before Jesus comes back. Another thing, we also say that no man know the day or hour. Yep, that's true. Don't no man know the day or hour. But Jesus said he didn't know it. But he would say he gave you a time frame because he got in Israel by discerning the sky and telling what the weather was going to be like, but you couldn't discern the time of the day because it was the last days back then. So Jesus said he gave you a time frame of one generation within when he is coming back. If Jesus didn't know he was coming back, he wouldn't have said, this generation shall not pass away. He knows that. It wasn't like he was guessing that. He knows that that generation wasn't going to pass away. So he knows a time frame within a generation, but he didn't know the day or the hour. Some people use that as an example that we don't know, that we didn't know when he was supposed to come back. When a lady have a baby in about 3 months of pregnancy, you know that that baby gonna be here in 6 hours, six more months, approximately, but you don't know the day or hour. Look, when that lady has been 7 months of pregnancy, you know that that baby will be here in 2 more months. You don't know the day or the hour. Look, when that lady has been pregnant for 8 months, you know that baby should show up in about a month. But look, it done been 9 months and you still don't know the day or the hour. Even in the 9th month, you still don't know the day or hour, but you know it's gonna be the month sometime. And that you're going to be jumping into this world. So let's not use that we don't know the day or hour to negate about Jesus didn't know a time frame. But wait a minute. We're going to get into something else here. We know that it was going to be within one generation. If you go into Luke and look at the generation was on an average of 41 point some years. A 40-year average was a generation back during the biblical days. So we know that from 33 to 70 AD was exactly 36 and a half years or 37 years. So that was within that generation of 70 AD. But look, we're going to use that generation scenario against today's language. Y'all said about the 70-week prophecy of Daniel, the clock was ticking, and the clock stopped ticking at 483 years, and we got seven more years to go, and the clock gonna start back up, and we gonna do them last 7 years, and then the end shall come. That's what the prophecy pundits teach. Okay. Some say the clock started then, some say the clock started this, some say the clock started at that time. But most prophecy pundits will show you that the clock started in 1948 when Israel became a nation again. From 1948 to 1988 was one biblical generation. There was a guy that wrote 88 Reasons Why the World Coming to an End. He used that scenario to bring about the end time. Matter of fact, he came right here in Leesburg when we had WACX Channel 55 station right across from the Bell Bombing place. And he said that Jesus was coming back that year. Claude let him stay in the station all night long, on and off the air. And we still waiting for Jesus to come. The next morning, Jesus didn't come. He said, "Oh, we all about to hear." He said, "I did some misfigured in my calculation." But it's been years since 1989, and then Jesus haven't come back yet. Claude fed him, he got his belly full, and he left. And you know what? Well, I ain't heard telling him since. You know, he ain't wrote no more books. He ain't had the guts of Hal Lindsey. When the prophecy failed, write another book, and when that one failed, write another book. You know what I'm talking about? To cover your last book. You got to keep covering your books with another book, then you could keep your sales going that way. But I think the guy named Wisey, He didn't write no more books, and we ain't heard of him since. He must have went up in the mountains of Montana somewhere. Disappeared. But anyhow, some people say a generation is 70 years. But we never call the biblical generation 70 years because they using 70 years because God say about 70 years your lifespan is by will of strength, 80 years old. But that's not a generation. A generation is the death of one to the death of another in that same time period. But we gonna go with the 70-year generation. Okay, from 1948 to 70 years will be 2018. Oops, it's 2014 now. We ain't got but 4 more years ago. Matter of fact, 3.5. So, what we gonna do now? Everybody get ready, and they need to start selling the land and the houses and everything that you got, because it's the time of the end. Because Jesus told them all that the time of the end was so close that they should sell houses and land and distribute that money and give it to the poor. And exactly that's what they did in the book of Acts. And there was no need, and no one had a need for anything. But we ain't doing that. And if we in the last days, why we buy new Cadillacs? Building finish. Somebody's building another house right now that we ain't got but 4 more years ago. So your action don't go along with your belief. This is David Johnson talking about the last days, and we're going to get this thing straight, because the Bible says after the first age was gone, when Jesus Christ's age came in Daniel 2:44, that the church age was going to last forever. If you read Daniel 2:44, when Christ's kingdom come, it's going to last forever. If Christ's kingdom came about 2,000 years ago and it was proclaimed by John the Baptist. And also, Jesus said, the gates of hell will not prevail against his church. Wow. I'm David Johnson, and I'm out of here.